I'm Carey Stinson, and my journey through life has been quite an adventure. For over 20 years, I played Barney the Dinosaur on tour and 7 seasons of the hugely popular TV show Barney and Friends. Now my journey is to bring together friends and guests from all over the entertainment world for inspiring and at times amusing behind-the-scenes conversation. I'm Carey Stinson, and this is Purple Roads. Welcome to Purple Roads. My name is Carey Stinson, and as always, I'm thrilled you're here. We have such a cool show today. We have Jules on the show. Jules got started with Miss Rachel and decided to go solo. So was dealing with maybe a little bit of a younger crowd. I wanted to get into that 2 to 7 kids range, which of course I know that really well. So I'm so excited to talk with Jules. Jules, how are you?
I am delighted to be here, Carrie. It probably goes without saying that you were a big part of my childhood. So,
Well,
yeah.
I'm thrilled with that. It took me a moment to get used to that because that shows me that I'm older, but I am thrilled. I'm thrilled to hear that. You know, obviously Barney means the world to me, and the fact that it is inspired other artists, I just love
Mhm.
that.
I mean, we named my first golden retriever Barney.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I was a kid at the time, but Barney was a part of my very early years, and it was definitely, yeah, because of Barney.
Well, that's awesome, and that's one of the things that I noticed with your music
Hmm.
and what you're doing, and what makes me so happy is that we're getting this about people and love and
Hmm.
just positivity. And you know, your music is so much fun and enjoyment, and that's what Barney was about. So I feel like
Yeah.
we maybe inspired you a little bit, and I love that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And also the emotional level of Barney too. Like, even just hearing that as a kid, like, I love you, we're a family no matter, and it was chosen family, right? Like Barney on the stage was like, here's our chosen family. And
Absolutely.
so those are definitely things that I've carried with me of like, what is it important for children to hear? To feel that they're loved, they're wanted, and that it's okay to express themselves however that is. Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%. That was always the message, and what I loved about it.
Yeah.
Um, so let's kind of get at the beginning. So
Mhm.
you've been singing for a long time. You were doing some other things, and then you got into the world of kids entertainment
Yeah.
um, with Miss Rachel. Let's talk about those early beginnings and
Yeah, for
talk
sure.
about where you are now.
Yeah, so in 2014 I had my first nephew. So my sister had her first kid, and I remember like the day he was born, I just wanted to write him a song. And because I'm a songwriter, went to school for songwriting, I was like, whoa, here's this whole other genre I can tap into. And it was out of a place of love for, wanting Elijah to have a song that was, from me to him. And so kind of over the years, my sister had more kids and I started to write more and more songs. And then I moved to New York and I responded to an ad on Craigslist that was like, I need help with my music classes. I was incredibly broke moving to New York, and I was like, yes, I write kids music. Let me like do kids music classes. That makes sense. And it was the only Craigslist ad I responded to, and I closed my computer, and that was Miss Rachel before she was Miss Rachel. So we used to do in-person classes together in the Upper West Side, and she wanted to reach a larger audience, and we know the best way to do that is through YouTube. So we filmed one of our classes, and the pandemic happened, and everything just exploded in a good way.
Yeah, it's
Well, for the
fascinating to
channel.
me. Well, yeah, it's so interesting, right? Because obviously Barney didn't grow up around YouTube,
Yeah.
but we were being innovative as well on how
Hmm.
we got the message out. You know, Barney was originally 3 videos, very small production, and we did it through Blockbuster, but the same concept to get
Yeah.
your message out there because the traditional wouldn't media wouldn't didn't pick us up either. So you find those ways and then you build from there. And then, I also think what's interesting is um, we all kind of accidentally fall into kids' entertainment world and then just
Hmm.
absolutely fall in love with it once we get here.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been like really well connected with kids. Like, I would go to dinner parties and just like kids would want to flock to me because I'm a big kid in myself. So it's like, yeah, I would rather hang out with like the kids than the adults sometimes because they're more fun, they're more imaginative, and we could, I just like love the curiosity, and I feel like I just have a really big inner child. And so now it feels like that even more now that I'm like doing this full time. Yeah.
Well, and I think that's important because you
Yeah.
need to be authentic when it comes to kids because they can tell. If you're
Oh,
just doing
yes.
this to make money and don't really care about kids' entertainment, it's not going to work.
Yeah, kids are so smart, and even just like working in the public school last year teaching music to kids that were ages like 5 to 8. They were, wow, kids these days are like incredibly intelligent. They can smell like, yeah, fake stuff from a mile away. And yeah, but here was the cool thing about that though. Like, I had 7 year olds and none of them ever tried to dispel the magic of my puppet Poppy. Like, they obviously could see that Poppy was attached to my hand, but they believed in her just as much as I did.
Well, sure. Sure.
Yeah.
They believed in a purple dinosaur for 22 years.
Yeah.
And I did it
Yeah.
and longer than that. I mean, Barney's been around for a long time and
Yeah.
never had that issue. There was never, it was never a costume. It was always a real purple dinosaur.
Even like you're saying like the kids on set were also just like,
Well,
yes.
well, the kids on set are aware. So they
Yeah.
actually get to meet us and all of that aspect. But when we had extras, so we would just have extras on and they would never meet me or any of that aspect. And when Barney came on, I mean, it was real. It was
That's
real.
awesome.
But then also on stage, when I did live performances for years, and meet and greets and all of that. No, they never. In fact, we did a lot of hospital appearances, and the
Hmm.
voice would not travel with us, so it would just be me or one of the actors in the costume, and no one ever said, "Why are you not talking?" Like
Yeah.
it was so real to them. There was their friend. So it's an
Yeah,
interesting
and
thing.
our body language can do so much, right? So you could, oh, I'm shy or whatever, right?
Sure.
So,
Oh, I knew how
yeah.
to work a hospital. Right? I knew how to shake that tail and dance and all that because right, it's the concept you're learning that they're so excited to see the person they've been singing along with or the person, to see Barney that Barney has to be there. And so you
Yeah.
adapt. You adapt to where you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So let's talk about it. You're doing these videos over COVID and it
Yeah.
explodes. What goes from there? What happens next?
Yeah, so um I always share this, and I think it's surprising to people. I was felt pretty unaware of how big the channel was getting. I wasn't really monitoring the channel. I would just make my videos, send it over, or edit the video. I wasn't super aware of like the growing process. That wasn't like my specialty to watch how it was growing. And I moved out of New York, where we were filming a lot, or where we were collaborating after COVID. I just wanted to get away for a little bit. And I started working in this coffee shop in this small town. And everyone started to kind of recognize me and be like, oh my gosh, you're Jules, and all this. And I was really thrown aback by it. I was kind of like, what? Like, what is happening? And I started to realize that the channel had gained a lot of notoriety, and that was kind of a shell shock for me. But yeah, it's still like really special to get to meet people that feel connected to the show and to the music and to what I'm doing on the screen. Yeah.
We were that way as well.
Yeah.
didn't realize what was going on when we were doing all these things. I mean, we would show up at appearances and stuff until I think we started doing the live stuff, and all of a sudden, thousands upon thousands of people started showing up.
Mm,
You're focusing on the work, right? You're focusing on what
yeah.
you're doing, and it's not that that's just not the reason you get involved in this, right? You're getting involved for the music and your artistry.
Yeah. And I feel like more now I'm having to focus on the other stuff now that I'm like, really trying to like promote my album and do kind of like my own thing, so to speak. It definitely is, it can take a toll on you to be doing the promotional side while also doing the
Sure.
entertaining. But yeah, I just feel so grateful to be in this work because kids are truly like the best fans. They grow up, they grow out of it, but they still like remember.
Well, they do, and it's amazing. And not only that, but it comes back and I hear that, and I'm so thankful for you. I hear it a lot, how important
Yes.
Barney was, and those memories for them, even when they're adults, it's so special to them. Which was for me. I got to work with Big Bird, and I got to meet a bunch of them that were my heroes when I was a kid,
Mm,
and so
yeah.
I understand how important that is as well. Let's
Yeah.
talk about this. So you're doing Miss Rachel, and then you decide you're going to go do your own thing. Did it
Yeah,
did
I
you
feel
start
like,
out as wanting to do an album first, or what? Where did that go when you decided you wanted to go do your own thing?
well, I think for me, like, I guess I didn't really ever think of it as doing my own thing. I feel like the pandemic, I've always kind of had to do my own thing because I would record videos by myself. Like in the pandemic, we weren't allowed to, hang out, and actually we were both living in different places at one point, and it was just like, okay, so I'm just gonna keep doing like my green screen thing, film in my room, and send those over, and like sending edits back and forth. And so it really kind of felt like I was just kind of like by myself, as most people felt alone in the pandemic. Like I'm doing this thing. Um, but I decided, I decided to like take some of the songs that people really liked that I had written during like my time on the show, and I was like, I just want these to be encapsulated in a way that people hear them like the way that my brain and my producer's brain really imagine them, which is not just a guitar and me singing in front of a camera. It's banjo, it's strings, it's like all of these different live instruments that I feel like are kind of can be missing from today's kids music, to give kids the experience of hearing so many different instruments. And yeah, and so I that is kind of when I decided, and it took me a long time to feel like I had enough self-worth and get over some imposter syndrome to actually get into the studio to record, cuz yeah, that was kind of its own mountain to climb.
And how long did it take you to put this album together?
Well, the songs were written over, like 3 or 4 years, but the album probably took like 3 or 4 months of planning, and then it was actually this exact day last year that we had our first studio day in the studio, and it took about 7 days to record and put all of the pieces together. And even like a few days before I left for the album, I was still working on some bridge parts. I was like, I'm gonna force myself to go camping and immerse myself in nature to write the bridge for Caterpillar Butterfly thing. And so I just like went out in nature and tried to like, get some inspiration, some final like drops before going into the studio. And I'm not sure like if you've spent a lot of time in a music studio before, but it's really magical if all the right things are in place. Kind of
Absolutely.
like a set, right?
Sure. I've spent a lot of time on set.
Yeah.
Uh, I've been in a few musical studios though. Um, what is it like after you've been working on songs for 3 years and you get in the studio?
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's so funny to hear a song that you've played one way so many times now played this totally different way, right? So I'm like trying to like think about that in terms of maybe the work that you do, but just like practicing something and then you finally arrive to like the set and there's like, it's like everything's here now. It's incredible. It's truly like some of the most euphoria I've had in my life, and like the happiest moments of my life are spent in the recording studio. I'm very like picky about who I bring in with me, and it's always like my best friends, my closest collaborators, and people that I feel really safe with, because in order to get to throw out any idea, and that was kind of maybe one of the themes of our album was like try everything like in the recording studio, and that way we got to be kids. Like any idea someone had, it wasn't dumb, it wasn't stupid, it was we were going to try it no matter what, and then decide, maybe it just isn't right for the song. But we got to be so playful in the studio, and that was really special.
And so important, right? That
Yes.
you have to be able to have a safe place. You're never going to get the best products, the what you want if you no one can speak, if there's pressure,
Yeah.
you just throw it out there, even as silly as it is. That's where you kind of, like you said,
you
you find
know
the magic.
yeah, you find the magic, and it's so important to have people around you that will be on that level with you, because if one person says, and we know this too, like even memories from childhood, one person says one thing that's negative or is like, yeah, that's dumb, you carry that with you more than the the praise and the great ideas, right? And
True.
so we had to make sure that there was nobody there that was gonna, diminish what we could do.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, and then it comes out. So jamming with Jules comes out.
Yeah.
Are you as happy? Are you happy with it?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy with it. I think it's truly like what is really awesome to me is that I've had a lot of adults that tell me like I just listen to this when my kids are gone, and like that is the biggest compliment, right? Because it just proves that like we are all so needing this like inner child work and like to be playful again, and yeah, it just means the world to me that people can hear the artistry and the musicality and all of the love and hard work that went into this album, like just through the music. I've gotten really great responses, and it's felt, yeah, amazing to finally have it out in the world.
So you put it out. Now you got to put some videos together. What,
Yeah.
what was that like?
Yeah, so I have three music videos out. One is called Pizza Party, and that one was really a more traditional music video. I wanted it to feel
Oh,
like
I've seen it. It's just a lot of fun, is what it is.
it's so much fun, and I wanted to kind of bring in again, it's like how to bridge these worlds between like something parents will enjoy and something kids will enjoy, and really also being authentic to myself and my background of playing rock music. So I was like, I'm gonna do like a classic music video, but it's gonna be for kids. So like, could this be on MTV? Probably not, but the idea was there. It's like, oh, we're just fun and we're playing guitars, and so yeah, that music video took a lot of work and coordination, and like I even had a puppet made to be the pizza person, and we had to, yeah, guarantee a lot of spots and get a lot of people that wanted to come have a pizza party with us out on a very cold day in April in New York.
Right.
So yeah, lots of love went into that as well, and just people that were genuinely excited to be there and eat pizza with me and listen to the song probably ten to 15 times, maybe more, by the end of the like hour long shoot. But yeah, that was incredible. And then Caterpillar Butterfly thing was was a stop motion film. I really actually love film and videoing things, and it's was kind of my first role in Songs for Littles or Miss Rachel was that I would edit a lot of the little videos and add sound effects and text graphic. And I was like, I'm gonna kind of use these skills and do a stop motion film, which is something I've always wanted to do. And so I like got these caterpillars and made them eat things and created this whole like like a really miniature set for the caterpillars to live on. And that took me a really long time to film and edit. And that was so much fun. Yeah, that was so much fun. Yeah. The videos have been a big piece of it because, and I feel like Caterpillar Butterfly thing was really special because I did all of that by myself and I wanted to like prove to myself I still got it, like the editing magic. But it's so much fun to make these things and I definitely feel like a kid when I'm in it, like, oh, this caterpillar's moving, its booty along, or like I had to make the cocoon and everything come to life. Yeah.
And are you happy with the bridge?
Oh,
That's
yes. Oh, yes. So happy with the bridge. Like, and I actually wanted to post something soon about like I have all these voice memos from me sitting next to this river. I had no service, but I was just, playing different bridges and I'm singing some violin parts and then to hear them come to life in the way that they do. Oh yeah, like it's incredible. There's nothing like that to have your idea fully, you know, executed and seen. Yeah.
that's awesome. So I see now it looks like you're going to get out to people, do a little tour.
Yes, yeah. It felt right to try to, like once this album has been birthed into the world, now I really want to bridge the gap between the on-screen person, as you know, and get to play these songs live. And it is different to show, I think, children how all of the different sounds are made. It's really cool. And so even though it's a little weird to have a full band, I think for kids music, I convinced the same band that was in the studio with me to
Uh,
do a few shows with me. And then I have my producer Katho, who can truly play any instrument, gonna play duo shows with me as well. So
Very
we have
cool.
like, yeah. So I'm excited to meet everybody, and just yeah, get to show people like how this music is made in real time.
And
Yeah.
where you going? Where are you playing?
So I'm playing the shows that are absolutely 100% confirmed are Atlanta, Nashville, um, let me think, New York, Philly, Western Massachusetts. I think I'm even going to play Denver and Santa Fe, New Mexico. I'm kind of like bouncing everywhere. Oh, Chicago and Wisconsin.
Well,
Or
there you go.
Minneapolis. Minneapolis, yeah.
You're all over the place.
Literally. It's gonna be jam packed. Like I'm gonna play a gig and then hop on an airplane to head to the next city. It's and I don't, this is kind of a trial run for me. I'm not sure what it's like to bridge the gap between, the album and the in person and the screen and all of the factors that might bring people to the show. This is going to be very, very new for me. And so, yeah, there's a lot of anticipation, I think.
Well, I think it's very important, right? You've,
Yeah.
I mean, we use all of this, right? Social media and all of those aspects of it, but where you can get down to your audience, I think is well, and it's the most amazing. Being live is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I've only played a few shows, not done something to this extent where it's a big tour, but yeah, just getting to see the kids and the families just so excited to be there. I I think I still have some sort of work to do on that because it kind of feels a little unreal, a little bit of imposter syndrome for me, for sure. Like, wow, this is just incredible, and like, why am I the one that's here doing this work?
Well, because you're out doing the work. I think that's
Yeah,
the important part of that. Um, you're following what you want to do, and kind of the calling. It sounds like.
definitely. Yeah, definitely. I didn't necessarily think of myself as a kid's musician. Like whenever I was in music school, I wasn't like, yeah, and one day I'm gonna write, like this great kids album, but I do have such a playful heart and spirit, and have worked with kids through my whole life and taught kids, and it just really made sense for me to, yeah, write kids music. So here we are.
Well, there's nothing like it. I
Yeah.
didn't I didn't plan to get into this part of entertainment, but the experiences over the years are the most cherished in my life.
Yeah.
The interaction with the kids and how they react to the music and all of that it's incredible.
Yeah, it really is. And I literally have VHSs still of taped recordings of live Barney shows. And I was rewatching one like maybe like a year ago on my little VHS TV, and it was like the Sally the camel, and I was like, maybe that's Carey. Maybe that was Carey. I'm like trying to think of the year, but definitely, like, I was born in 92, so like that
Mm.
might have been you at this live show.
I
The or
started in
that
90,
Sally the camel has. Dun, dun.
yeah, 91 was when I started, so before you were here.
Yes.
But my first big one was Radio City. So that was in
Mm.
1994. Barney Live in New York City. That was my
I
first big
I
experience.
literally think that's the one that we taped.
It
We
was,
have a tape version of that.
I love that. I
Wow.
love that. It was just absolutely an unbelievable experience. But it was kind of the same thing that you're about to go through, and I recall very much so, is that we it was still about the what we were doing. Right? I didn't get caught up so much. I mean, New York was cool, but you were still very more focused on the steps and the show and all you were doing because you understood the kids were coming to see Barney.
Yeah.
The work was always still the most important thing.
Yeah. And it's so much work, as you know. It's
Yeah,
just there's a lot that goes into it to make these shows happen. It's like for every one person on the stage, there's probably like 10 people that are, backstage or in an office somewhere trying to get all of this together.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. How, and I'm just curious about this.
Yeah.
How, so you do the tour,
Hmm.
you just keep promoting this for a while, or is there a point where you start wanting to write more music or new music?
Oh,
How does that work?
definitely. Definitely. So throughout our time in the studio, we were reading this book called I'm like trying to look at it from here. It's the Rick Rubin book.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I have it. I
You
have
have
it.
it. Yeah. I
Yes.
can't, and like I'm trying to read the title from here, but my eyes aren't that good. But it was the Rick Rubin book, and we would read it every morning going into the studio. And one of his biggest advices is like to, like, even while you're still in the throes of one project, you have to like almost start thinking about that next project and start working on it so that you have something else to grab onto once you're done. And I haven't found exactly what that is for me yet. Like I don't think I've really started the next thing fully, but I have been thinking about it. I would love to do another album. I'm not sure if like maybe doing a book, or I have a lot of different little collaborations and projects that I'm working on, but for myself, I think the songs can't ever stop because I really do identify as a songwriter over a performer. And so the songs just don't stop. Even if I'm like, I need to take a break from this, it just always sneaks back into my life. And that's how I know that that's really what I'm supposed to be doing on this earth because I can't stop, even if I wanted to.
Right.
And
No.
I've tried, I've been fed up with it.
No, I
Do you
totally
resonate?
I do in many ways, and even with this podcast, that there was a period where I took a break, um, and it just I don't know, there was something about it that I just had to keep doing it again. I enjoyed this so much. I enjoy hearing the stories and getting the stories out there, and I think is what we do. I just said, well, I'm just gonna put it back out there and no rules. I put a show out when I put a show out, and the fans always are here and they always watch and they love all these things, and
Yeah.
I get it. I think you have to sometimes just take the pressure off and go, okay, I'm just going to put out when I'm going to put it out, or I'm going to, when the music comes or when a guest comes, you do it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm really open to whatever's next, and I just know that, like, again, it's like I got the itch. I can't stop at this point because I really love the work that I do. I actually do know for myself, I will say that I've decided after I'm kind of done with the hullabaloo of the tour and I've had some time to rest, I would really love to take myself on like out in the woods for a few weeks and write an adult album because there's a lot of songs that I write that are, I mean, I think kids would enjoy them too at some point, but it's not for kids. And I want
Sure.
to write something that's for the parents as well. And maybe eventually on future tours, I could do a thing where I do a kids show in the morning and then be able to play my adult tunes at night, some Jules after dark,
Right.
moments, because I do think it's important to like show the whole person, right? Like I'm not always on and like happy and like playful, and we're
Sure.
we're actually a lot, we're humans doing this work too. We're adults and have real lives and real woes as well.
Well, absolutely. I'm also a photographer, and sometimes that's just where I have to get my creativity. I grab my camera and I go and I shoot what I shoot,
What
and
is what do you like to take pictures of the most?
well, so I live here in Texas. I'm a big Texas guy, so I love hitting the back roads. I love getting in my car and just going and finding and seeing and exploring
Yeah.
and putting it out there, right? So that is just meant for whoever it's meant for. And so, sometimes I just have to do that. So I think the creativity is in us, and we don't always have to do, it doesn't have to always be like this. Sometimes it can be that.
Yeah. Wow, I already feel a little bit of a kinship with you though, because you're from Texas and I was born in Texas. Family lives in Texas.
Where in Texas?
Fort Worth.
I'm 5 minutes from Fort Worth.
What?
Yeah,
Are you an art?
I'm in Keller.
No
I'm
way. That's
I
awesome.
literally could be over the railroad tracks and in
That
Fort
is wild.
moments.
Yeah, my whole family works and like with kids in education, and so they're kind of all over the place. So like Everman ISD, Fort Worth ISD, Denton ISD. They're, yeah, but everyone works with mostly special needs kids.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and
That's
that has been in me as well. So it's not it. There's definitely reasons why I feel really drawn to this work, and I also love to do it in real time, which is why I took on a teaching position at a public school last year to make sure, like, I actually really wanted to see what kids are up to, like
sure.
what do they like and what's going on. And I think I'm going to do that again this year, just working specifically with special needs kids in music. But it's so rewarding to have them learn a song
Yes.
that that they love just as much as you. Yeah, it's all special. Sorry, I'm going
It,
off a little
no,
bit.
no. I understand completely. We Barney had a lot of kids with autism, a lot of special need kids, a lot of them that follow this show, and just amazing,
Yeah,
absolutely incredible. I have learned so much, so I understand that part as well.
yeah,
Yeah, it's funny
definitely.
you say that. Yeah, my daughter's up in Denton,
Hmm.
She's at UNT, and my wife works in Fort Worth. So
Wow.
my father was born in Fort Worth. So yeah.
Wow, we might be more connected than we think because
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure my dad was also born in Fort Worth. I was born at Harris Methodist,
Yep.
like most people in Fort Worth.
It's awesome.
That's so cool, Carrie. I'm glad to know like another way that I feel connected to you besides you being such a huge part of my childhood and yeah, teaching me so much. Like it's so funny the what sticks in your brain from your childhood and for whatever reason pumpernickel bread will forever be in my brain. Like I've always like have a little fascination with pumpernickel because of Barney. And I don't know if you even like pumpernickel bread, Carrie, but
Well, it's so funny. So, and I've told this story, but the short of it is, my wife is a widow, and so when we met, um, she didn't really let her kids watch Barney too much when they were younger. But all of a sudden, one day, our daughter started singing "Oh, Mr. Sun, Oh, Mr. Sun." And I'm like, you can't help it. It gets in there and it stays. And my wife was laughing, and I'm like, it's where it goes. Those songs, they get in, which is what's going to happen with your music as well.
I really hope so. Like I really hope that it's something that like I was thinking about this whenever we were done at the studio, like all of the weird little things that Poppy says or that I say in between the songs, how those might actually be, like remembered by people. They'll know what Poppy says even if it's in the background or um yeah. So, and I've
Well,
and I've actually seen that in real time, so that's awesome.
well, think how fun it'll be when you get to do pizza party for all those kids live.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, if only I could just, throw out pizzas for everyone. That could get real messy quick. I have had a lot of pizza parties, like meet and greets, where I just bought a bunch of pizza and showed up, and so yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Well, Jules, it's just been a pleasure.
Same, Carrie. Thank you so much for having me. I really love the podcast, and I'm excited to, yeah, hear the episode and hear all your future episodes as well.
Well, thank you so much. And I just wish you all the luck and
Thank you.
getting it out there. Keep doing all this great work you're doing, and have fun on tour.
Thank you so much. All right, talk soon.
Thank you so much for watching Purple Roads. Remember to keep your eyes, ears, and your heart open, and you'll find your purple road. We'll see you real soon.